So with bringing the production and stuff back here, how does that uniquely position you as you move forward? You've hit it on a little bit of, you don't have to deliver everything in black. But I'm sure there's some nice things that you have as far as being able to go out on the shop floor now and have a little more involvement and perhaps feedback from
we've
from
always
the floor.
had close integration between the engineering group and the manufacturing group. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of design for manufacturing, and when it's a real hands-off situation that everything is highly defined before it's turned over, it takes longer to move something into production.
Yep.
We find it very useful to have this interactive effect. And as we get into customized and specialized things, it's basically a requirement. We're doing a job for Disney right now that it's a specialized version of something we already do, mm-hmm. but it's different. It's a higher output columnar kind of thing, and they have a show to open, so from start to delivery is like 3 weeks. You couldn't even consider doing something like that offshore.
Yeah.
And it's been one of the fortes of EAW. We almost invented the process of the so-called build to order.
Yeah.
It's almost a design to order. Frankly, we maybe it's a love-hate relationship there. We don't say, well, we'll go out and we'll build anything you need. Mm-hmm. I mean, we may be able to do that, but there is always a time lag and a difficulty associated with it, and there's got to be a payback associated with it. Yeah. A client like Disney, largest client we have, parks all over the world.
Yep.
So we do jump through hoops, and this thing that we jump through a hoop, they're probably going to put them in 6 parks now. So it'll be worthwhile, and then it becomes a design that's just available. There's nothing restrictive about it. I'm not sure when it'll show up in the catalog, but it'll probably show up on a specialized, here's an available design list at some point.
Well, a number of years ago, I had the privilege of installing the first KF 750s, to where we're going to head a little later today over at Michigan State.
Yes, right.
And I think we were real early on in that process, working with one of the guys there at EAW, and we got the the not to disclose letter faxed over, and we went back and forth, and
that was an example of trying to. Yeah. Well, we'd shown the product. It's a great product. Wasn't quite into production, so we had to drive all the detailed issues.
Yeah, one of the things. Yeah, one of the things that we laughed about was a year later we went back and replaced all the phase plugs. In fact, Jeff, who's sitting here, was one of the guys who went back and did it. And we took, 200 pounds out of that cluster, because they were all the original resin, were all those phase plugs. So we went back with the real phase plug and dropped a good chunk of weight out of that 20-some boxes.
That was an example, actually, of the difficulty of getting high precision right the first time.
Yeah.
And that was quite a few years ago now. So the computer modeling techniques are more advanced now. We tend to be able to hit it right the first time, but it's more like the third time. Actually, we're going through a range of product that you may have seen at the Infocom show. We call it QX. So we see it as an amalgam of the output capability of the MQ range of installed product and the time coherency of the AX series. Mm-hmm. So that's where QX came from. Very high output, very time coherent, very excellent sounding. A range of horns. We have 5 different horn patterns. Each one of those horns has gone through at least 3 iterations to optimize, try and get the pattern control and the performance of it as good as we can make it. So even though we've got a lot of experience in horn design, we've got we've got modeling software, we've got equipment we say they grow the horns, SLA processes that'll, build things up in layer. Mm-hmm. Until you've grown the horn, put the driver on it, put it in the test chamber, measured it, you're not absolutely convinced. And then they say, we're just audio nuts.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say, well, it's good enough. Well, no, we could change this profile a little bit and make it a little bit better. And each one of the horns has gone through at least 3 iterations now. So it's just, maybe an example of the attention to detail.
Yeah, on the continual improvement. I liked your statement earlier about it's the American way is to build a better mousetrap and to continue to do that. And EAW definitely has done that as he looked at the product line. There's a lot of products out there that have the KF in front of them, and I'm assuming that stands for Kenton Forsythe.
Well, until 1987, my daughter was born then. So subsequent to 1987, they stand for Kendra.
There you go. That's great. Oh, that's awesome. But I have a lot of places I go that still have KF650s and some of that, and they still sound great.
They still sound great.
Yes.
And there's still ongoing demand, and we would love to update it because we think we can do it better.
Yes.
And the direction was kind of set with the introduction of the updated KF300 series. So at Infocom released what we call the 394 and the 394, 364 that bring some of these time coherency, pattern control techniques into place into the very compact format of the KF300. And actually we're able to get more output, better pattern control, better sound quality into a smaller package.
That's great.
It's the 10 pounds in the 5-pound package.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's great. And we have seen this big movement. And obviously you're being heavily involved in the touring industry where, truck pack is probably the driving force behind, a lot of design and stuff. To be honest, I'm amazed that I go, well, we mentioned we're going to go to Michigan State, and we're going to stop at Spartan Stadium where we did the first KF900 permanent install here in North America. And I remember we set the boxes in place, and I was standing at the 50-yard line, and at that time Harry Klein was with you guys. Harry and I are standing there, and I said to Harry, tell me this is going to work. And he says, I think it will. Because we were looking, there's this big video scoreboard, and he put my finger in front of me, and the PA disappeared. So we've seen that stuff shrink down. And is that what we're going to continue to see? Is shrinking size, or
we were able to cut the size of 900 rig alps in half now.
Wow.
Without much sacrifice in performance, and that's through component development and harnessing more DSP and a little bit more clever fundamental design. Components are, they're incremental changes. There are very few revolutionary changes in the audio world. People say, well, somebody's going to reinvent the electrodynamic loudspeaker system. Well, hasn't been done. Certainly in our part of the world. There are interesting technological developments that have come along, and actually you see them more in drive-through advertising displays and that. But the fundamental technique that we use of propagating sound really hasn't changed in a long time. But the implementation of it is much, much more advanced. We're able to have much better power handling, the integration of how to make a system work is much better understood. The ability to control where the sound goes over wide bandwidth has improved considerably. And we're bringing all this into some of the newer designs.
Yeah.